Hi, I'm Debbie and this is Book and BuJo. Welcome if you're new and welcome back if you've been here before. Today we're doing my weekly update of what I've been reading and doing the last week. So the first book I finished last week between January 8th through the 14th, we'll say. And during that time, the first book I finished was The Alloy of Law, which is the first book in the Mistborn Era 2 series by Brandon Sanderson, following Wax and Wayne, so all new characters, which is kind of fun. And it's more of a Western, sort of the Wild West-ish type of book. So we get a little bit from the West, we get a little bit from the cities, and there's some familiar themes and surnames that have been, descendants passing down from the Mistborn Era 1 book, which is quite fun. So I thought it was entertaining. It was very humorous. I love the banter back and forth between Wax and Wayne, as well as some of the new characters that come in. It was just very enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the series. The next book I finished is in the Arcanum Unbounded, and again by Brandon Sanderson, and that is Allomancer Jack and the Pits of Altania. And this is really cute. So it made me think of, if you know the movie like Alan Quartermain, those slapsticky fun shows where you have one person saying, I did this amazing thing, and then you have like a narrator behind them saying, well, this is really what happened. And so it was just really cute. I thoroughly enjoyed it and I would recommend it. Now it does say in here that the story contains minor spoilers for the Alloy of Law, so you may want to keep that in mind depending on if you want to read this before or after you've started Mistborn Era 2. The next book I finished is The Bone Shard War by Andrea Stewart, and that is the third and final book in the Drowning Empire series, and that was so good. It was very interesting. It was a great conclusion to the end of the trilogy, and I feel like this was probably my favorite book out of the three. 2 felt a little slow, and 3 kind of picked back up and brought everything back together. So I would highly recommend The Drowning Empire. It is very good, and of course, Mephi. I mean, you gotta love Mephi and Thranna and Shark and some of the other companions that are in these novels. They are just awesome. Okay, and the last book that I finished was The Dark Prophecy, which is the second book in the Trials of Apollo series by Rick Riordan. And it was so nice to get back into Rick Riordan's world. He's so just fun and sarcastic, and his writing is so easy to read. A lot of the plot points and things like that they're familiar. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're reused from other books or anything, but they have a familiar style to them, and it feels more like coming home, which is nice. I'm glad I was getting back into those. So next up, for a quick little hydration break. Oh, so good. So this is my fun, when I was in marketing and PR, I got this fun mug with a microphone. It was actually a sample mug of ones that they were going to go with, and my team was the only team that got them, so I very much guard this mug. Nobody else gets to use it, and it is actually, the mug itself is great. My husband loves it and wants to steal it, but I won't let him put his coffee in my tea mug because that will taint the flavor. But I'm actually drinking Yunnan Noir, which is a black tea that comes from China. They roll it up into a ball so that it kind of looks like a snail's tail. So the aroma of it has like a little bit of a sweetness to it, almost like a touch of honey is in there, which of course it's not, as well as just a little bit of spice. And the taste itself has, I guess you could call it winey, as in there's an astringency to it. It has a little bit of a dryness to it, but not so dry that you're like, ooh, I need some water. And it's very smooth. It's from start to finish, from when it touches your tongue until it goes down your throat, is so smooth. And then it ends with just a touch of cinnamon and nutmeg in there, just a little hint of it. It's so nice. It's just great finish and great tea overall. It's just a nice basic black tea that is warming and soothing and just delicious. What am I currently reading? Well, I am still reading The Girl in the Stars on my Kindle. I am like 91% of the way through. I am almost done. I am prioritizing this book in the next couple days to get this finished. I'm hoping I finish it today. We've had a bunch of other stuff going on, and I've been doing some other things, sketching out my bullet journal and stuff for February, and that's been taking quite a bit of my time. So I'm focusing on this week to get this finished because it is really good and I'm really enjoying it. I like it a lot more than the Book of the Ancestor, and it's only the first book so far. I'm very excited for the rest of the series on that one. The other one I'm reading on my Kindle, so I'm mainly listening to it, but I'm also kind of going through on my Kindle for parts of it, and that is the Iliad by Homer. And that one is actually a reread. I have read this one before. It's a mythology book from Greek and Roman times, and it's basically about the Trojan War, which takes place in Troy. We got Achilles and Helen of Troy and all those familiar characters. Okay, next up, I am still reading You Are The Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and this one I'm going through very slowly, so I'm about 30% of the way through. I'm almost done with chapter 3, and so I still have quite a chunk left, but I am purposely going through this slowly so that I can absorb and actually take in the information and try and actually put it into practice so I don't lose the information that I'm gaining from this one. And this one is, again, it's making your mind matter. So what you think is what you are. So if you think you are healthy, then you are more likely to make healthy habits and become healthy. If you think you are not, on the flip side, then your body thinks you aren't, and so then you aren't. It's a very interesting concept. I'm really enjoying it. Again, it's kind of a manifestation type thing, so if you're into that, then positive thinking, it's along all of those same lines, and it's very interesting. Okay, and again, I'm still going through all of my Brandon Sanderson books for the Cosmere with Elliot Brooks, and we are up to, in the Arcanum Unbounded, we're up to Mistborn Secret History, but this one does say it has major spoilers for Mistborn Era 1, and then, which I've already read, and then it also has minor spoilers for The Bands of Mourning, which is the third book in the Mistborn Era 2 series. So I think, it's minor spoilers, so I may not worry about that too much, but I will probably read the second book in the Era 2 series first before reading The Secret History. In November, I did read all 3 volumes of White Sand, the graphic novel. This one only has the first one, I believe, in it. But then afterwards, it has the actual, novella-ish, the concept behind what the graphic novel was based off of. So I'm going to try and read through that one as well. And then after that, I have Shadows for Silence in the Forests of Hell to read, as well as Sixth of Dusk, that is still in this book. And then I should be done with Arcanum Unbounded because the last story in this one is Edge Dancer, which I read that one last year. And I've already read all of the stuff, all of the books up to The Secret History. And then after Secret History, we get into White Sand. Almost done with this one, only 3 stories left. Books that are coming up. What am I going to read next week and when I'm finished with the ones I'm currently reading? So I have a couple of options for my next Kindle read when I finish The Girl in the Stars. Then I will move on to The Written, which is by Ben Galley, and that's the first book in the Emaneska series. That one will be next up for my Kindle. Physically, I have a couple of options, so I will most likely move on to Shadows of Self by Brandon Sanderson, which is the second book in the Mistborn series, Mistborn Era 2 series, continuing following Wax and Wane. So I definitely want to get into that one, but this one it's not on my TBR, and it's not on it's not on the Readathon that I'm doing, the New Beginnings Readathon. I think I've only done 4 books off out of the 10 for that one so far. We'll see if I put this one in yet or not. But there's also Thief of Time by Terry Pratchett, which is the 26th book in the Discworld series. With Literary Diversions, we're reading Around the Disc in 800, and so this is the second book for January. There's 2 books that we read each month because they're not super long. And I will probably get going with that one. But this one So it's kind of back and forth between Shadows of Self or this one. I will probably start this one first just because it's shorter, and then if time get to the other one. But this one would be an audiobook as well as the physical book. And this is A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin, and it's part of the Earthsea series. And this one I got from my library, so I'm borrowing this one. But I'm very excited. I've seen the TV series that came out back, I don't know, early 2000s and late 90s, I don't know, somewhere in there. And I loved it, so I'm looking forward to getting into this one, especially since she's sort of the start of the fantasy genre, which is kind of exciting. So I'm looking forward to listening and reading this one. So those are the ones that I'm hoping to get to next week. And The Written by Ben Galley, that is the last book that I have yet to finish for my TBR Opoly, because I only had the 5 books, and that's the 5th and final one, so I will definitely finish that one by the end of the month. Yay, very excited. Reading journal updates. Nothing too much to update you on yet. I did add in a few more of my series, so I'm getting a little further on that one. And I did finish, for my readathons, I did finish my January Adventures in Aeldia for 2024. I got both books read that I wanted to. For my new beginning readathon, I do have, so the first one, a genre you don't read often. I'm reading the Iliad by Homer because I don't read classics too often. I do try and read one a month, but I haven't been keeping up with that very well. And the next one counts towards 2024 reading goal, and that's You Are The Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I am currently reading that one. And I have wanted to read in 2023, and that was The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. I did finish that one. And then we had TBR Vet, which was The Dark Prophecy by Rick Riordan. I finished that one. Buddy Read, Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torge, and I did finish that one as well. Oh, I almost forgot about this one. Buzzwordathon is also, for this prompt, new on your TBR, and that's There's No Coming Back From This by Anne Garvin, and I definitely need to get to that one. So as soon as I finish with The Written, I will pick this one up because that's another Kindle book for me. New to you author, I read the Love, Lies, and Hocus Pocus Beginnings by Lydia Schur, and then A Wreck from the Mostly Ghostly Team, and that was Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I'm really hoping I can get to this one because I really want to read that one. Let's hope I have some time. That one is going to be an audiobook. I can usually get through those a little quicker, but I also don't want to just read as fast as I can just to get to the next book. I want to enjoy my reads a little bit more this year, so we'll see. I mean, if I completed all of this is like 22 books. I really don't need to complete all of these, so I won't be sad if I don't finish all of these. Well, on one hand, I will be sad because I do want to read these, but on the other hand, I won't because I will have enjoyed the books that I read more than if I rush through them. And then published in January, and that is A Wizard of Earthsea. So, Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. And then finally, reread a book. This is another one that if I don't get to it, it's okay. And that one I do want to reread The Bound and the Broken series, so that would be The Fall by Ryan Cahill, because I do want to get to Of War and Ruin this year, but I kind of want to do a reread of the series before I get to it. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. Hasn't been that long since I read Of Darkness and Light. So we'll see. Actually, I think I read that in January last year. So, wow, it has been a year. So, we'll see. I may need to rethink that one. Coming up, one of the things that I want to read this year, one of the series, is the Kingfall series, the Kingfall Histories by David Estes. There's 2 super chunky books in there. There's an over 800 page one, and there's one that's over 1,000, but there's only 5 of them. Really kind of want to do a book club read of the Kingfall Histories. So if you are interested in joining me in reading the Kingfall series by David Estes, let me know, and I will set up a Fable book club page that we can all join and talk about it and go chapter by chapter. So I'm hoping to read that one in February. So I would start the first book February, March, and so the next book would be April, May, and then June, July, August, September. So we should be done by November. That way we can keep December open since it's the holidays, and hopefully we would be done with the series before Thanksgiving, or at least by the end of November. If you are interested, let me know. If not, then I will just read it on my own and let you know what I think. But I hope to see you there. When I do my TBR obole for February, I will make sure I leave the Fable link in there if we decide to do a little book club discussion on it. Okay, videos for coming up. For February, I'm going to have, of course, my bullet journal and reading journal setups, my plan with me's for that. And I'm just as a little sneaky peek, I'm going to be doing a chocolate theme in my bullet journal. And I think for my reading journal, I'm thinking of a dream potion for my theme. A couple more videos that people have been asking for. I will be continuing my favorite things video series, and this time it will be fine liners. So the different fine liners that I love to use. And then I'm super excited. My sister was an English literature major, and she's been an English lit teacher for many years. And she is quite amazing. She has got Teacher of the Year multiple times at the different schools that she's taught at over the years. And so I asked her, what are the top 10 classics that an English lit major would recommend? So not only did she give me those, but she gave me some extras. I will have that video coming up, and I wish I could have her on the video with me, but she lives in a different state than I do, so we don't get to see each other that often. But luckily with the phone technology, we get to hang out. So you will get to see the English Lit Major classic recommendations. And if you have any other video recommendations you would like to see, please let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear what they are and give you what you want. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any videos from me. And if you made it this far in the video, leave a star emoji in the comments to help me remember to finish The Girl and the Stars by Mark Lawrence by the end of the week. And until next time, keep reading. Bye!